Roger, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for the inner workings of large language models, how neural networks learn language. I was wondering if you could take a moment just to talk a little bit about yourself, about your career and what you do, and your book and what it's about and who it's for.
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Roger Gullhaug. I'm from Norway. I'm a director of development and operations in a company called Rambase, and we are building an ERP system. And yeah, I have a background as a developer myself, but now work as a manager here.
Yeah, and when did you get the idea to write the book?
Yeah, I've studied and used AI for a long time, of course, like most people now, and I see that this technology is really changing how we work, and I think it is the most interesting technology we have seen maybe since the internet. So I really needed to learn it. I'm a technology enthusiast. I really needed to understand how does this actually work, because it felt a bit like magic to me. Writing these prompts, getting such good answers. I remember first time I saw it, the first time I tried ChatGPT, I was just shocked. And after that, it has become so much better, increased extreme after that as well. So I felt this is something that I need to understand. So I started digging into how does it actually work. Read a lot of books, watched YouTube videos, blog posts, talked to AI itself about it, tried to figure out how does this technology work. And I wrote a lot of notes, because that's a way for me to learn, to write it down. And during the summer, I suddenly had a lot of notes that I felt, okay, now there's so much here that other people can have benefit of reading it. So I started structuring it into a book, and I think it has become quite good. I get really good feedback on it from people who have read it now, that this is interesting for everyone that would like to understand how AI actually work. Both developers, but also people without much technical background can understand it.
Yeah, it's a really excellent introduction, and it's great the way the story it comes from your own challenging yourself to actually understand it. And it's funny, we can say those words, but you really meant it. I'd actually want to actually not fool myself into thinking it, or like have summaries or stuff like that. I really want to step by step understand it. And I can say from experience, those are some of the best books that we see on Leanpub, are where someone set themselves that challenge, actually, and remembering what it was like for them to learn it and informing then their book with that experience that they went through, not replicating it the same way they did it, but with the understanding of having gone through it themselves. They know how to, as you say, you went through this process, but then you came up with a structure for it. And that's just really good. And like, I also can say from a little bit of experience how I know how hard it is to write sort of shortish books that very clearly get into the detail of things like this for people who aren't necessarily technical. And so then you wrote the book, and one of the really interesting questions authors have to ask themselves when they write a book is, how do I know when I'm done? How did you know when you were done? Did you share it with other people, or did you just, you completed your plan and you knew you were finished?
Yeah, I'm not sure if still if I'm completely done, because I started writing a lot of notes, like I said, started forming it into a book, and as I wrote, I came up with more and more ideas, that things that I should add to the book. Now it's focusing a lot in how the technology works, but also it includes some reflections about what AI understand and what it doesn't understand. It includes a section about how I have been using AI in myself. Also, as part of writing the book, it's quite extraordinary, I would say, how you can use AI in a learning process now. If you want to learn something in detail, it's fantastic to be able to use AI. Reading books, watching YouTube videos, things you don't understand, you can keep asking AI, can you take this text? Can you describe it in a different way for me? Can you, I doesn't understand this part. Can you explain it in a different way? It's like having a private teacher in many ways. It's a private teacher where you don't have to be ashamed of asking the same question again and again and again until you actually understand the concept. That's something I have used a lot, so I included some of that into the book. Yeah, just a few days after I released the book, then OpenAI released this new open weight model. I figured I need to check that out, because OpenAI haven't published any open weight model since GPT-2. It's a long time ago. And I was wondering, is it different now? Have the architecture changed a lot? Is everything I wrote in the book not true anymore? Is it something completely else they have done in these newer models that are much smarter? So I had to study that as well and figure out that no, it's basically just the same architecture, same algorithms. Of course, they have some smart improvements here and there, but nothing very drastic. So I added an appendix in my book about that as well. And
Yeah, that's
maybe I will add more.
no, that's such a great. I mean, that's the perfect kind of Leanpub book author and project, right? Someone who's willing to update it and take advantage of the ability to do that. And you can upload, the new version very easily. It's immediately available to everyone who's already gotten it and anyone who's going to get it in the future. And, I've heard from a number of authors who had said, I probably would have not written this if I couldn't update it so easily, because things are changing so quickly. And so although your book, I mean, will be evergreen, as they say, because so much of it is actually about the fundamentals of how the technology works, there are other things that you get into later in the book where you go into more detail about things that can be changing and updating. So you get the benefits of both updates on how things are changing, but also the fundamentals that will always stay the same. The book is The Inner Workings of Large Language Models, How Neural Networks Learn Language. Thank you very much for doing this launch video with me and for all of us today.
Yeah, thank you.